Hello, friends. Pray you're all doing well. Today, I want to share with you a way to use the Google Slides to make a music video of yourself. And in order to let you see all the instructions clearly, in the following, I'll turn off my camera so that you can see the full screen. So now let us see what kind of tools we have. The first tool we need is Chrome browser, which most of you probably already have. The second one that you're going to need is, of course, a Gmail account. The Gmail account comes with a set of tools, including cloud drive storage as well as Google Doc, Google Sheet, etc. But the most important, of course, is the one that we're going to use today is Google Slide. So on top of the Google Slide, you're going to need something called the Loom extension. Loom extension is a browser extension that allows you to record whatever you're playing on Google Slide into a video. So in the following, I'll demonstrate how to install Loom extensions. I'm assuming you already have Chrome browser installed, Gmail account, and know how to access your Google Drive. If these are new to you, please search online for some tutorials so that you can get familiar with them. It will be too lengthy if we include those in this particular course. Now let us see how to install the Loom extensions. I'll go over these steps first, then demonstrate how to do it in the following video. So first of all, we will use Google search to find Chrome Web Store. Of course, you can use the URL here to go into Chrome Web Store, but it will be too long to type. So the easiest way is to use Google search. Once we found it, we will click to enter the Chrome Web Store, and then we will look for Loom in there. It will be popping up the Loom extension. We will choose Add to Chrome button to install it. Once it's installed, the final step, we have to pin it so that we can access it anytime on our browser if we want to record a video. So in the following, I'll demonstrate these steps to you. To install the Loom extension, all we have to do is in Google search, look for Web Store. So we found the Chrome Web Store here, then we go into it and we will search for Loom extension in here. Type Loom, and after a while it will pop up. Once it's pop up, all you have to do is select it and then choose the Add to Chrome, and after a while it will be installed. So after we install the Loom extension, it may not, sometimes it does, but sometimes it may not pin it at the top right hand side. If it doesn't, then we click on this little guy here, and we will choose the Loom extension that we have installed, this one here. At the right hand side, you're going to see that it has a pin button, which allows you to pin the Loom extension. And if we click on that, it will notice that it's actually pinned to the top, right here. So after that, you can use it at any time to record a video. Okay, now that we have installed Loom, I need to talk to you about some limitations of this free versions of Loom. So if you want something for free, of course you have to accept its limitation. The first limitation comes from the limitation of how long you can record. The free version of Loom allows you to only record 5 minutes. To music video, this shouldn't be too much of a limitation because most of the songs we know would never exceed 5 minutes, right? Most of the songs probably 2 to 3 minutes and maximum probably 4 minutes. So this shouldn't be too much of a limitation. Even when I'm recording these courses, I have to write storybooks for each section. And each section is only 3 to 4 minutes. So I never really come across the difficulty of the limitation of 5 minutes at all. So you can try, but if you choose to pay, the subscription fee is about $45 to $47 per year. So it's also not too much of a fee if you truly want to do professional video and you want to record for a long time. So anyway, that's the limitation. The second limitation is about the storage. Every single time when you record a video, Loom put it on their cloud. And of course, you can download it after, but this is a limitation that on the cloud, they can only store up to 100 videos. And this is a lot because nobody will ever just place 100 videos on the cloud and then without managing them, right? So most of the time, what I find myself doing is that I download the video and I deleted it because I no longer need it. I already have a copy on my computer and I can do anything I want with that video. The third one is, this is not a limitation, but this is something for you to watch out. When you want to place your music track and play it with the Google Slide at the same time, it is best for you to have 10 seconds of silence in front of your music track. The reason is because when you want to play the audio and the music track, you have no control of the timing. But you do need that 10 extra seconds for the countdown to Loom to happen, for yourself to put Google Slide into display, adjusting the cursor so that it will not be in place and so forth. So this is a necessary step. When I come to the demonstration, you will know what I'm talking about exactly. Lastly, I want to talk to you about an alternative to Loom, and this is called Screencastify. Screencastify is a good alternative to Loom. It's actually almost the same thing. The free version has 5 minutes of limitation, also have some storage limitation for the free version. But the process of installing and using is almost the same as Loom, so you can take a look if you're interested. But in this video, I'll focus only on Loom. So in the following, I want to explain to you how to handle the text and images in Google Slides. First of all, of course, we need to insert our text box, which will be displaying our lyrics. And these are the lyrics of songs. A lot of times you probably can easily find them online, and you can just use copy and paste to put these lyrics into the text box. And of course, you have to consider the fonts too. A lot of times when you select a very lively font which matches the theme of your song, it will be best. So you can play around with different kind of fonts that are supplied by Google. Google supply a lot of fonts already. Also, we want to see how we can animate our lyrics too, because when we display the lyrics, we do not just want to give a blurb of the whole paragraph. We probably want to display line by line. And after that, then we have to add images, of course, and the display of a music video is all about images and text, and how you can find a theme or how you can find a mood that actually best fit your song is the creativity. I will also explain how to use background images and what the difference of background images and normal images are, because for background images you cannot animate it. Then we also will be talking about different types of ways to insert the images. Alright, so now we are ready to create our own Google Slides. To create Google Slide, all you have to do is go to the G Drive and then you right mouse button click to bring up the menu. In the menu there will be a Google Slide Creation menu. And then in the submenu, you want to create a blank presentation. The reason is we don't need any templates from online. We want to control the images and text ourselves. So once we enter, you find that the title is actually Untitled Presentation. We'll give it a title, Twinkle, so that you can retrieve it later on. Other than that, you can delete the text box above, and then you can just add a title for this song. And this song you have, let's say this is Twinkle Twinkle, right? So we'll just add Twinkle Twinkle as the title song. Once you have added the title, then you want to tell people who it is arranged by and who sung it, who is singing it. And so I insert a text box, Chester, this is my name. And then the font, of course, is too small, so I'm going to enlarge the font. And you select the text box. Make sure you select the text box and then go up to enlarge the font. Also the title we can enlarge to 36 so that it will be more even. And so once we created it, we just arranged them in the middle of the slide, and we're almost done. The Twinkle Twinkle seemed to be a little bit hard. We don't want to use Arial, that type of hard font. So we want to maybe change to the Calibri, so it's softer. And if I do not select the box, you'll notice that no matter what I change, it doesn't change the font. So make sure you select the text box when you change. Now we're ready to create our lyric slide. So for the lyrics, it's very simple. You just go and search online, whatever Twinkle Twinkle, wherever you can find Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, you copy and then you paste it into here. And because the song is kind of a lighting mood song, so we want to choose a font that is actually more matching up with the song theme. So we'll select Cursiva. And Cursiva is a font, I'll enlarge it, you can see it. It's a font that is actually more lively, so it fits the theme more, right? Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. You can see the fonts is quite lively. Once you've created this, then we have to take into consideration how am I going to animate this paragraph of text, because I do not want to just show a blurb of text. That would not be very good in a music video. So I go into animation, and you can right mouse button click the font to go into animation. Make sure they select by paragraph. And I'll show you, if you don't select by paragraph, what happened. I'm going to play it. You'll see that as soon as I click the mouse, the whole paragraph shows up. You don't want that effect. You want the verse to show verse by verse. So you create the check by paragraph, and it select the time to fade out, fade in is actually a 1.5 second. Then you start singing. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. You get the idea. When we click, it's verse by verse showing up. In the future, when we try to record it, we also use the same trick. Okay, so now that we have created 2 slides, I revisited this title page, and we discovered that these slides are really boring because they don't have any images at all. In order to put an image there in the background, we have a couple of choices. We can first of all use the change background option. For the change background, you can choose any image, and of course, if you have the link, URL link of an image, you can put it in, or you can choose to upload from your computers, or you can use Google search. Within here, we can actually search for, let's say, twinkling star images, and it's probably best to add a free, because sometimes non-free images, you have some watermarks. So let's say we select this one, and we can just simply insert it. And once I click done, you will see that it appears at the background already. And of course, now we need to go back and change our font's colors, otherwise you cannot see it. So my font color, I'm going to change it back to white, and of course the name also I need to change it back to white, and so that you can see it. And then we move it centering this couple of title and name, and if you right now go to present it, you will see that it appears as you wish, right? But however, this is still not very ideal because I really want to have something animated, so I do not want just a static image. So I need to go back and reset my image so that it's gone. And of course, right now my font is white on white. You cannot see. I have to change my font color back into black color, and so that you can see them. Now, right now that I want to insert an animated image, I cannot use the change background anymore. The reason is, in the change background, as far as Google Slides is concerned, it is a static image. It cannot be animated in the slide timeline. So therefore, we need to use the insert image method this time. And by URL or by any other means, of course, but let's try to search. And I want to describe to you why search has its limitations within Google Slide. So if I say that twinkling star animated GIF, free, let's say, and I'm going to search for it. We found some, but these are not really ideal images that we want. So it is not as if we search on the outside Google image search that it allows us to see related images, right? For example, this one, if I can see related, it would be great. But right now, if I want to go inside into this page, when I click, you will see that I can only insert this one. And after inserting this one, of course, you can do all kind of handling inside. But this really does not fit our theme, right? Because we want a kind of almost a meditating type of theme, not admiring the universe type of theme, as this image may project. So therefore, let us just remove this, and we will actually go into outside animated image search and show you how you can obtain the animated image that you want. Okay, so now we're ready to look for our own images, right? Notice that I'm searching for twinkling star animated GIF in Google search. And also take note that I'm actually moved myself in the images tab so that I can see all the images If you scroll up and down the images, you probably will find something that you like. For example, if I scroll down, I found there's an image that I really like. I'll go into that image, take a look, and it will show me the animation and the sparkling stars, so I really like. At this point, you want to take note of the resolution of this image because it is a very low resolution most of the time, let's say 200 by 200. If you enlarge it, it's going to look weird. The other thing you have to pay attention is a kind of rectangular images that is actually lying sideways. Because our Google slide is this way, so we probably better to select this type so that when we enlarge it won't be too weird. I have gone into this URL as well, and I found that the image address that they provided doesn't really work either. So in the following, I'll show you how to get the images if the URL they provide does not work. So I already said that the copy image address of this image does not work for us. So right now what we need to do, we would have to save the image onto our computer. To save the image onto a computer, we'll choose Save Image As, and then of course we'll go into a folder that we know. For example, I'm right now saving onto this course folders that I'm accumulating all the images, and I'll give you the name, of course, otherwise I will forget what I have saved after a while. And once it's saved, of course we will be careful and want to verify that it has been saved successfully, right? Otherwise all this work would be wasted. So I went into the correct folder and verify that the images has been saved successfully there, and we click on it to make sure the animation and everything is still intact, which is it is. And so right now our task will be to move this image onto our Google slide. So now that we have saved the image, we want to upload the image, and as I explained before, you cannot use change the background to display animated GIF. So we choose upload from computer for our uploads, and we choose the selected image. You can see that the image is actually according to its own resolution size when you save. That's why when I say that when you consider animated GIF, you have to consider its resolution. Otherwise, it becomes too blurry when you enlarge it. Now that we have covered the entire slide, we found that it's covered our earlier title and name text box. And we can simply just right mouse button click and change the order of this image, send to back. Once you send to back, you'll find that the title and the name appears again. And of course, right now it still maintains as black color. We want to make it stand out, so we change the color. Let's change it to orange, and it stands out quite good. And so let's try to do another thing, because right now that I have the title page, I really want the title to display upon my click. I don't want it to display too early. So I went into animation, and we can go to set all kinds of animation now, because previously we haven't talked about this, but there's really a lot of choices in the animation. If you click on it, you see that it's flying from left, flying from top, spin, do all kinds of things. So let's choose flying from top, since we're dealing with stars. And of course we need to go down and change the timing as well for 1.5 seconds. I do find that 1.5 seconds most of the time is actually a good thing in between, not too slow and not too fast. After I've done that, I also want to make the name appearing with animation, so I add an animation, and this time I'm just going to use fade in because I don't want it to have too many flying arounds. So we choose 1.5 seconds again, and now if I choose play, and imagine the music is right now playing, and then my mouse went in and clicked, and you can see the topic, the title fly down, and after my second click, Chester show up. The timing between the two clicks, of course, is up to you. You can control that. It's you who are controlling the clicks, right? The display. Now that we have done this, we can stop the animation and we can go back out to work on our lyric slide, which is the second slide. In the lyric slide, we have already set up previously that it has been displaying by paragraph because we want verse by verse to show, and we also have to set the timing. So right now what we need to do is go and set the background just like we did with the title page. So let's recap what we have learned from image handling. I have mentioned before that we can change image by changing background. The advantage is that once you change the background, you do not need to adjust the size of the image. It will automatically fill the whole slide. The disadvantage, of course, of changing background is that you cannot display an animated GIF, because as far as Google Slides is concerned, background is a static image. You cannot display it within the timeline. The other method that we can use, of course, is to insert an image through other ways. But when we insert the image, we need to adjust the order. We need to resize it such that it fills up the whole slide. And you need to send it to back or send it forward. But that's okay. It's all quite simple to follow. Then the next problem I have already stated is that a lot of times when we try to copy the image address, the URL of the image, and we paste it, Google Slide really cannot display it. So that address has some problem in it. We don't want to spend time dealing with those things. At those moments, all we have to do is save to our computer and we can upload it onto the Google Slide. Lastly, I still want to talk about some font handling, and this is regarding especially when you display font of foreign countries. Alright, so we're returning to our first slide, and you can see that I changed the font again for the title. It's Caveat now, because I like this font. It seems to be more lively. When I go to the second slide, you will notice that something changed. It's as if I've changed the font, but actually I didn't change the font. It was actually just adding some spaces in the even number rows, and so that it will not look as hard as it was. It will be more lively, like because you're displaying on each side. Now when I go into displaying the slide, and you're going to use the mouse all the time to advance the slide verses, what happens is your mouse cursor will be actually there all the time. And if you go into presentation, you will notice that this control bar is always there, which is not good. So what alternative do we have? We can actually go and use the right and left cursor. So if I move away my mouse and then I use the right cursor to advance, you can see that each verse is advanced quite nicely without any cursor. And so this is the way that we can control the slide. Okay, now let's look at some handling of the foreign fonts. So in the second verse, I purposely wrote a Chinese verse just to show you that in the case that we want to find more fonts, and sometimes it's foreign fonts, what can we do? Now, Google Slide has limited amount of foreign fonts, but we can actually go to this option called Add More Fonts. And once you go into Add More Fonts, you'll be able to at least search for the font that you want. But the problem is this is not Google Search. So I actually need to find a name, because if I just type Chinese font, you can see that I found nothing. So what we can do is actually we have to go out using the Google search, look for the font name, then we come back here and insert the font. So very quickly we see how we can search for a new font. So we search for Google Slide Chinese font, for example, go into it, and then you will realize that we have a lot of Chinese simplified characters in here. There's limited amount of other fonts, for example Chinese Hong Kong, which includes some Cantonese characters, or Chinese traditional, only about 2 choices. But let's quickly go back to simplify because there's more choices. And let's say we hone in on one particular font, which is Ma Shan Zheng, this one, Ma Shan Zheng. And so if we go into the detail, we actually can see a lot of more detailed description of all the characters, or detailed prescription. So anyway, if we remember this name, Ma Shan Zheng, we go out and do the more font, and we type in the Ma Shan, it already appears, it finds it. And if you select it, it automatically appears on all the available fonts. If you click OK and then go out to Google Slide, you will see that it's available for you to apply. So we have just seen how to add more fonts with the more fonts feature. In the following, I want to go back to the image handling and describe 2 more features that Google Slide has enabled us. You remember that we have talked about change of background. We also talk about the handling of animated images. And now I'm going to come to a feature called shape masking. If you have not seen it before, you probably don't know what I'm talking about. But basically, Google allows us to use a shape to house the image and conveys a very different mood. It will become clear once you see the demonstration below. The last one is the recoloring, which is easier to understand. It's just a feature allowing us to recolor the image that we imported so that it conveys a different mood. I'm going to demonstrate these two features to you. So as stated before, I have written a Chinese stanza. You can tell from the wording here. It says that I've been traveling afar to chase the unreachable star. So in my mind, I want to search for two pictures. One is a man running and chasing after something. And the other one is to have a moving star that is flying away from the man. So let's first look for those two pictures. So we found in PicsArt this running man has a little chubby, which is fits me well because it looks like me. So this time what we're going to do is we're going to use copy image address to get the URL of the image, and then we paste back into the Google Slide. Now we have returned back to Google Slide. We can insert the image by URL, and then we paste the image address that we have just found. And we found it and inserted. It will appear in our Google Slide. So now we can continue to talk about how to handle this image. Now that I have inserted the image, I realize the image is really not to my satisfaction because I really want this running vessel to be facing the word, the lyrics. So first of all, I'm going to put it into the right position that I want it. Then I can use this thing called format option. For every image, we can have format options, which allows us to actually change the direction. We will flip this image, and once I flip it, you will see that the direction changes. It's running towards my lyrics this time. And so this is how we can handle the image. And so after that, I have to paste in a star that I have previously found. And once a star is being pasted in, of course, I need to adjust the size of the star as well as the position of the star, and also need to flip it as well so that it will be in the same direction as the running man. And on top of that, we can also adjust the angle of this star such that this angle will be in a perfect position. Now I want to bring in a background for this slide because it seems a little plain. So let's bring in a background, insert image, upload. And then we have to send the order of this image to the back, of course, and so that our lyrics can be shown. And I need to change the color of the lyrics as well, and put the orange color for the English, white for the Chinese, so they can see. Now we are facing a problem. Look at the star image, it's transparent. It doesn't really matter what background you put. But for the white running man, it is a white background. Our background is dark and we have a white image pasted on top, which stands out like a sore thumb. It doesn't generate a good theme. So now we have two options. One is to upload this image with white background up to ecgif.com. And ecgif.com is a place where you can convert your GIF images into transparent images, which is probably what we want to do. There's a lot of examples on ecgif that you can Google, so we will not demonstrate in this course. But now I want to demonstrate using masking of a shape on the image, which allows the slide to convey the theme that we desire. Let's look at the masking now. Alright, let's continue to talk about handling of the images. And we are going into something called cropping, which allows us to use any kind of shape that we select to mask over our image. And this is a really cool effect. Here you can see there's tons of shapes you can choose. But in this particular case, let's say we want to convey a dreamy kind of surreal mood. Let us choose the cloud shape. When we choose a cloud, you notice that the whole cloud is masking over my picture. And it only shows the portion that is within the cloud shape, which conveys a cool effect of surreality. So this is what we can achieve. But on top of that, we still can go into the format option and choose something called the recoloring. The recoloring basically allows us to paste over whatever color or change the color of our image to whatever we want. And it's limited selection, but it conveys actually a very different effect. For example, if I choose this orange type, It conveys kind of a more dreaming mood, which may be what you want, right? So this is another way that we can use recoloring to add on to changing the theme or changing the mood of a picture. Although there's still other tools we have not gone over, I just want to highlight another one within the image handling. Let's go back into format option, and this time we choose transparency. Basically, we're going to change the transparency level of this picture. You notice that when I change it, when I minimize the transparency, it's actually becoming more fuzzy. And it actually conveys another kind of theme, or even more dreaming kind of theme. So you can explore and play around with these tools yourself. You may find creativity that surprises yourself, and it's a lot of fun. Now we come to the final step of recording our music video using the Google Slide. There are a few things I want to go over so that you may consider. The first thing is, where do I put my audio file? The music and song that I have recorded, do I play them within Google Slide so that I can synchronize the steps? Or do I use another software to play the music video and then I can control the slide to synchronize with it? After that, we have to think about how do I go about recording it using Loom. How do I set up options in Loom so that I can record smoothly? Lastly, we will go over how to control the presentation such that we obtain the best effect. In the following, I'll demonstrate these few points. Now that we are ready to record our video, we press present to start the slides. But at this point, we don't have any music playing, so there's no way to synchronize if we don't play the music. For best result, it will be to play the music using Windows Media Player or any other software that plays the music outside of Google Slide. And then after finished recording, we combine the video and music tracks with no worries of losing control during the recording. Since not everyone knows how to use the video editing software, so we will provide another alternative, that is to insert our audio files into our Google Slides. To do that, however, Google for some reason allow us to direct upload images, but do not allow us to upload audio file. In this case, we need to first upload our audio file into our Google Drive, and then we can select it from inside the Google Slide. So the process is a little bit complicated. Once we find the audio file, we can insert it from Google Drive. Now, when you insert, it automatically put it in the middle of the slide, which is not what we want. We have a couple of options. The first option is to move it outside of the Google Slide. However, when you move it outside of the Google Slide, when you present, you no longer can click on it to play it. You would have to set it to autoplay so that when you click present, automatically the audio file will be playing. This is why previously I said that it will be best for you to put 10 seconds of silence in front of the audio file, because after we hit the present key, the slide begins to show. We still have to wait for countdown of the Loom extension to start recording, move our cursor away, also wait for the control menu of Google Slide to disappear. Now that I have hit present key and I'm starting to record, actually I'm already playing the audio. Once the time is up, you can hear that right now the music begin to come in. And that's why we need this 10 seconds for preparation to start recording. So that is one way. The other option is we can try to minimize this audio object shape to almost a point. We make it so small to almost a point on the whole screen. So after we minimize it, we can then choose format options again and go into recoloring. What we want to do is choose a color that is not so obvious within our slides. And then what we can do is move it into the corners. And you can see that once it's in the corner, it's not very visible. Once it's in the corner, then while I'm presenting, I will be able to locate this audio object and I can click on it to play. To most people, this is acceptable because it's only a small point at the corner that is not visible. At this point, I already clicked the audio play so we can hear the music and start recording. Lastly, I forgot to mention on audio file, no matter you choose auto play or on click to play, you have to for sure uncheck this stop on slide change checkmark. Otherwise, it will only play on the first slide, and then when it comes to the second slide, it will stop playing. So please remember to uncheck this Stop on Slide Change checkmark. So now we're ready to record our slides. You have seen that I have already placed the audio file on the top left-hand corner, and I also have gone into the format options for this audio file. You can see that I have chosen autoplay. I have also unchecked the options Stop on Change Slide. So after we have done all these settings, now we can go ahead and hit present and look at our slides. When we hit present, you've seen that we face a problem. We have no control when this Google control bar is going to disappear on its own. Fortunately, Google Slide has an option that we can present without using the full screen. So if I click this button, you can see that right now we are displaying only in a browser window. And if I click my mouse button elsewhere, the control bar will soon disappear. Once the control bar has disappeared, now I can go up to the Loom button and press the button to start my recording. Alright, now we're ready to go into recording our slides. First of all, when I press this Loom button, you will see that there's a few options we need to consider. First of all, you can see that my image is being shown at the bottom left corner, which is not desirable. Since we do not want to record our talking image, so I'm going to choose screen only rather than screen and camera. Once I have selected this option, you can see that my camera image disappears. Now I want to select not the full desktop, but only the current tab, meaning that I only want to record the browser window. After that, let's go into Show Advanced Options. Within this advanced option, I want to turn off this camera at the bottom left corner. So what I have to do is unselect this Use Photos for Screen Only. Once I have done that, you can see the green circle, which is the camera, disappears. Next, I also want to turn off this control menu of Loom, because if I turn it on, it will be recorded all along with my presentation. The recording countdown is for you to get prepared when you are recording, and it will have a 3-second countdown, 3, 2, 1. The show recording time is to help you keep track of how long you have been recording, so you can see if you go beyond this 5-minute limit. All these options seems a lot, but it only takes a few seconds before you record, and after that you can press this Start Recording button to start recording. Now we have come to the end of the course. Let's review the 3 cases that I have spoken before. And here is the first case, that we are going to play the audio file and the slides in 2 separate applications. So this would mean that we are only recording the slides. Until the end, we will combine the audio and the video of the slides together. I have mentioned before this will be the most ideal situation, because then we don't even need 10-second delay within the audio file. This way, when we start to record our slides, we simply go over to play the audio file. Once the audio file starts playing, we can then follow and advance our slides accordingly with the right cursor key. You can see that now I have set up all the settings, all the options for this recording. I don't even need to include this tab audio because I have played no sound within this window, only the slides. But at this moment, I still cannot do the start recording, and this is because I have not set up my presentation yet. When I hit the present key, you can see that the problem is it occupies the full desktop. So there's no way for me to get to my audio file to make it start playing. So I need to use setting to make it display the slides only within a browser window, not the full desktop. After that, we wait for the control bar to disappear, then we can start our recording. So now we can press the start recording button. Once we press the button, wait for it to count down first. Once it finishes the countdown, you can go over and play your audio file. Then you have to move your mouse over back to the slide window and click it. The reason for clicking this mouse here is twofold. One is to bring the focus back to the slide window. Secondly, it initiates the very first verse to display. Once the display begins, we no longer use the mouse, we'll use the right key. So now you can hear the music is playing in the background. We synchronize using our right key to advance the slides until the full slide is recorded. Since this is only a demo, I will stop after the first slide. So now let's talk about the second case. The second case is that we hide the audio file in a place where the slide will not display, and we have put 10-second delay in the beginning of the audio file. We have also made it autoplay so that when we hit present, it actually will automatically begin to play. Now you have seen that I have set up the video recording exactly the same setting as I mentioned before, but this time we need to include the tab audio because we're playing the music inside this window. All the other settings are the same, and we still record only the current tab. Now at this point I still cannot press this start to record, and the reason is, you remember that I have to set up my presentation, because if my presentation occupies the whole desktop, I cannot move my mouse. So I need to present the slide only within a window, a browser window, so that my mouse can be moved elsewhere to get rid of the control bar. From the moment I set up the presentation, then come into recording the video, start recording, countdown, almost 10 seconds pass. At this moment you can hear the music is coming in and you have to control your advance of the slide. Since this is only a demo, we're going to play a couple of verses and then stop there. So now we come to the last case, and that is we will have the audio file on the side but no 10-second delay in the beginning, and I have to click it in order to play it. And you have seen that I've unchecked this stop on slide change. Now I can go up to present, and within the present you can see that we have no music playing because at this moment I have not clicked the audio file yet. This gives us plenty of time to minimize the window to play in a browser. Now I can go up to Loom and start recording. Now we'll wait for the countdown. After the countdown, we can move on to click on the audio file to play it. The advantage of this method is that we have full control of when to play our music. Now that the music is about to play, you have to move the focus back to the browser window and then control your advance of the slides using the keyboard right cursor key until the presentation is done. In the following, I'll talk about what to do after we finish recording. When we have finished recording our slides, you probably want to wait a few seconds before you click this Loom button again to finish the recording. This is because everyone's computer and internet speed varies. Sometimes Loom will need a few seconds to finish processing the video and then upload onto their server. Once you clicked it, Loom will bring you into the platform where their service is and where your video is hosted. We wait until it's fully processed. Then we can go in and examine our video, but you'll see on the right hand side there's some simple editing functions. We will not go into details of all these functions because most of them are very simple and you can just try it. But I do want to mention this particular one, the trim video. This is probably the function we will use most after we finish recording. In our recording, chances are we may have some extra silence in the front, or we may delay quite a bit into hitting the Loom key to finish the recording, so we can cut these extra pieces. This function allows us to cut our videos into the most optimum length. We do not need to use any other video editing software. Let's look at how we go about to do this. Since I'm at the end of the video right now, when I click this start trimming, it will bring up the cursor at the back. So now I would have to move the cursor around to decide how much I want to cut at the back. Once it's all set up, I can press this remove button. Then the selected end piece will be cut. In the same way, we can move the cursor to the front and then select the front piece. Maybe there's a bit of silence that we want to cut. So you can fully control how much you want to cut in front and the back. Of course, even in the middle, you can use the same way to cut it, but it's very rarely that we need to cut something at the middle. And after editing, right now we can review the whole video again just from front to back to make sure that everything is okay. And once we have done that, we're ready to download it. The download process is easy. You see that at the top there's 3 dots here. Once you click the 3 dots, there will be a drop-down menu, and in the menu there will be a download function which you can use to download your file. Once you have selected it, you'll be asked to provide a folder, and then of course you have to give it a name in order to save it onto your computer. When we get here, the course is now complete, so please provide me some feedbacks. either through email or you can type the comments below too. You can also subscribe to this channel so that you will get notified whenever there's new video coming out. At the end here, I will provide my own recorded Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Hopefully it will give you some inspiration. Enjoy! Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. 我也曾脚步不停，追那遥不可及的星，走过大山和小径，摇摇晃晃到如今。旁人唤我把梦醒，不知我所见经营。哪怕路上有艰辛，坚持生活有使命。Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star,